Welcome to this explainer on assembly committees. Look, we all know the four pillars and state assemblies form the absolute foundation of our lawful government, right? But today, we're zooming in on the dynamic blueprint that actually makes things happen on the ground. We're going to map out exactly how we do the work of the people together.
Think of a steering wheel for a second. It's really the perfect analogy for how our government operates. The General Assembly, that's the driver. State nationals and citizens hold that wheel, steering the direction of the militia, jural, and business assemblies. But here's the thing. The actual collaborative engine powering the vehicle under the hood, that is the committee system. Without committees, you can spin that wheel all day, but the car just isn't going to move forward.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll be looking at why assembly committees exist, what the committee of the whole is, the roles of chairs and members, common committee functions, and finally, workflow and accountability. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Why assembly committees exist. Okay, to truly understand our structure, we've got to look at the historical and philosophical reasons we even use committees in the first place. So there's a massive contrast between two very different styles of operating here. Federal subcontractors use these rigid, top-down, hierarchical departments. But our lawful American government, we operate strictly from the bottom up. Now, historically, our elected officials were actually nicknamed committeemen. And get this, it was meant as an insult by folks who loved strict top-down hierarchies. But for us, it's a badge of honor. This bottom-up committee structure is exactly what ensures power stays decentralized and right where it belongs, directly in the hands of the people.
Now, our ancestors totally knew the system had challenges. I mean, they even had a song poking fun at how slow committees can be when members just argue endlessly. To beat that and keep our assemblies running like well-oiled machines, we make a few absolutely crucial commitments. We don't argue over the small stuff, we keep politics completely out of the room, and we stay relentlessly focused on delivering what's best for everyone. When you actually stick to those commitments, that supposed inefficiency of a committee completely vanishes, and what you get is peaceful, highly productive co-creation.
Moving on to Section 2, the Committee of the Whole. Let's explore how assemblies organize different scales of work.
First up is the Committee of the Whole. When the general membership gathers, it's not just your standard run-of-the-mill meeting. It is an exploratory forum. As the source material highlights, the entire goal of the Committee of the Whole is to unlock the truth for each of us as men and women. It's literally designed as a peaceful space to figure out the who, what, where, when, and how of our reconstruction process. It's all of us coming together to brainstorm and co-create before we break off into our specialized task.
From there, the actual work moves into smaller, specialized groups, things like special committees and working groups. The beautiful thing about this system is that literally anyone can start a working group or focus group to tackle a specific issue. Special committees, though, are a bit more formal. They're usually called into existence by other committees or chairs when a specific, targeted task needs dedicated, sustained attention that goes beyond what a casual working group can handle. And then we have standing committees. You know, our state assemblies were never meant to be in constant year-round session. They come into session, do the business, issue instructions, and then everyone heads home. But standing committees, they keep operating during recess. Think of them like the folks tending the coals, just waiting to light a new fire. They handle the urgent business and keep the lifeblood and energy of the assembly pumping so the fire is super easy to rekindle. And the most important part, when the main assembly comes back into session, these standing committees report back on every single thing they accomplished while everyone else was away.
Section 3. Roles of chairs and members. Let's shift gears and look at the people inside these groups to see what leadership actually looks like in our system.
Okay, if you take away nothing else, remember this. In our government, there is no positional authority, only functional authority. In a typical top-down hierarchy, getting elected suddenly elevates your status, right? But in our system, offices are just functions, and the people holding them are functionaries. You absolutely do not become more equal than anyone else just because you won an election. You are strictly constrained to protect the rights of everyone, and there's no way to secure any kind of special, elevated authority for yourself. So what does this mean in practice? It means committee chairs are simply spokespersons and executive administrators. They are definitely not overlords. A chair doesn't get to sit back and pick who gets to be in the business assembly, the militia, or the jural assembly. There is zero gatekeeping allowed when it comes to who wants to show up and shoulder the work. Their actual job is totally practical. Call the meetings, host them, set the agenda, make sure records or recordings are kept, and honestly, just make sure the job gets done. Now, whether you're an officially elected chair or just volunteering to run a quick working group, you've got to act as a good moderator. What does that look like? Well, a good moderator stays completely neutral and makes sure every single voice is heard fairly. They exercise serious restraint so they aren't just dominating the whole conversation. They know exactly how to cool down heated situations, and, this is a big one, they set firm boundaries, working hand in hand with the marshal at arms to enforce participation guidelines. Section 4. Common Committee Functions. All right, we know who runs the meetings, but what on earth are they actually doing? Let's check out some practical examples.
You see, our assemblies operate essentially as a parallel society, and the sheer diversity of committee workloads totally reflects that. Take the Education Committee. They're out there creating materials to help new members break free from prior indoctrination. The Treasury Committee, they keep a close eye on the finances. The Provisions Committee acts as the quartermaster for the militia, literally evaluating what equipment is needed. And the IT Committee maintains our websites, builds new technical tools, and writes the instruction manuals. It's really about everyone playing their strong suit to keep the whole assembly thriving. But it's not all just daily operations. We also have specialized committees that are absolutely essential for internal accountability. You've got the Oversight Committee ensuring all the other committees are operating with total honor and integrity, and they review complaints carefully so they don't turn into political weapons. Then there's the Ombudsman Committee, providing conflict resolution and arbitration. This is huge because it resolves perceived harms early on and prevents our courts from getting completely bogged down. And lastly, the Vetting Committee reviews candidates for elected positions, running background checks and interviews to fiercely protect the integrity of the assembly.
Section 5. Workflow and Accountability. Let's move to our final operational topic, the literal nuts and bolts of bringing a committee to life.
So starting a committee is actually incredibly straightforward. Step 1, figure out if it's relevant to where your assembly is at right now. Honestly, don't start a committee for something your assembly isn't quite ready to handle yet. Step 2, find a moderator. You do not need a fancy, formally elected chair on day 1, you just need someone who can run a productive meeting. Step 3, keep an agenda and make sure someone is taking minutes. And step 4, just execute the work. As your assembly naturally grows, you can worry about formal chair elections later.
Look, the ultimate goal here is definitely not to create some perfect, shiny bureaucracy. The absolute most important part of a committee is simply getting the work done. It doesn't have to be rigid or formal right out of the gate. Just get together, roll up your sleeves, and get to it. In our American government, everyone's a leader, everyone is contributing, and everyone is making it work together. Summary. As we bring this explainer to a close, let's just take a quick second to reflect on the core message of why we rely on this functional blueprint instead of top-down control.
Committees allow members to divide responsibilities, solve problems, and keep the work of the assembly moving forward. That is really the heart of it all. By breaking down these monumental tasks into focused, collaborative groups, we make absolutely sure that power stays right where it belongs, with the people. It ensures every state national has a real place to contribute their unique skills. The true strength of our government relies on you. So I'll leave you with this. What unique skills are you going to bring to the table to build your local assembly?